Now here at Drupal, we've built a CBDC private ledger that is based on the same blockchain technology that powers the XRP ledger, which was built for payments and designed for issuing currencies. Each central bank will have complete sovereignty and ability to customize their CBDC based on their own unique privacy and policy requirements. Neutral bridge currencies like XRP, which is an open source, public, and decentralized digital asset, will play a key role in facilitating such interoperability. And keeping sustainability in mind, the CBDC private ledger is carbon neutral and 120,000 times more efficient than proof-of-work blockchains.
Hey everybody, it's Eri from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan, and there's a huge missing and growing 65 trillion in dollar debt, and it is sparking concern because when I mean missing, it means that the dollar debt is off the balance sheets through currency derivatives, making it very hard for global policymakers to anticipate the next financial crisis. The Bank of Central Banks, which is the BIS, issued a report, and they're very concerned, and it has sent a lot of shockwaves through the global banking circles because these foreign exchange swaps are very much connected to pension funds. And the central swap lines that are set in fog, says the report, has a lot of hidden leverage, which could create a dollar funding squeeze. So this squeeze means that there's just not enough dollars to keep the swaps going. So it's my opinion, because of this murky view, how close we are to a very big liquidity crisis could set the narrative into hyper mode for central bank digital currencies. And because injecting liquidity with today's inflation is not ideal, I have a feeling that XRP just might be the solution to help. Here's your quick glance at the top 100 by market cap, and you can see that Bitcoin is just under 17,000. XRP is trading at 38 cents. And the two that are really up are interesting. Nexo, up 8.4%. Why is that? Well, they're moving out of the United States because of the lack of regulatory clarity. And Celsius is up 39% on the 7-day. What is going on there? Didn't you think that they're going bankrupt, right? Well, let me show you. Well, here we learned that the bankrupt crypto lender Celsius gets court approval for extension to file restructuring plan. So there are a lot of people that still have hope. And for the Celsians, this is another positive move. The crypto lender has released 2.8 million in bonuses to prevent staff poaching. And in addition to that, the company also is seeking a motion to enable stablecoin sales. For the sake of the entire crypto space, I hope that anybody who has money tied up on the Celsius platform, that there is a good solution at the end of this restructuring process.
The massive collapse of multi-billion-dollar crypto exchange FTX has grabbed headlines, spooked investors, and turned its former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried from so-called wonderkin to pariah in just weeks. But among the carnage, at least one major bank sees a buying opportunity: Goldman Sachs. Reuters has learned exclusively that Goldman plans to spend tens of millions of dollars scooping up or taking stakes in beaten down crypto companies. With investor interest dampened, those companies can now come relatively cheap for those who are still crypto believers, which apparently Goldman Sachs is. The bank's head of digital assets told Reuters that Goldman is doing due diligence on a number of different crypto firms, adding that while FTX set back market sentiment, crypto's underlying technology, quote, continues to perform. But rival banks are more skeptical, especially as calls mount for heightened regulation. At a Reuters Next conference on December 1st, Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman said that while he didn't think cryptocurrencies were going away, he couldn't, quote, put an intrinsic value on it. And HSBC CEO Noel Quinn told a banking conference in London last week he has no plans to expand into crypto trading or investing for retail customers. While the amount Goldman may spend is not large for the Wall Street giant, which earned $21.6 billion last year, its willingness to keep investing in the sector amid the shakeout shows it senses a long-term opportunity.
And did you catch that? HSBC didn't have any intention on bringing trading to the retail investor, but I can tell you, for the institutional investors, absolutely. And that's why this Series 65 is a step towards getting people who want to be an accredited investor is going to soon launch. I'm going to keep you in the loop. It is being brought to you free of charge to prepare to pass this test by Genfinity. So I think you're going to see it go live this month. I imagine a lot of you are really tired of hearing about the FTX Bankman-Fried, but there is a broader inquiry that's starting to happen, and it's federal prosecutors looking into the role that FTX and Alameda had maybe played into the fall of Terra Luna. So I think this is really just starting to unravel. We still have a lot to learn. Yahoo Finance says keep your eye on Silvergate Bank, Marathon Digital, a publicly traded mining company, and MicroStrategy, the firm that has 130,000 Bitcoin with an average price of 30,000. So their position is deeply underwater. Moving to another subject. I think it's totally okay to have an opinion one way or the other on who you think is going to win, whether it's the SEC or Ripple. But what's not okay is when you write an article that is of low quality. And what I mean by that is that you have not researched some key facts or points to really show the world that you know what you're talking about. This is an article by Preston Byrne. He writes that Ripple is doing a weird thing. Well, he's talking about how the XRP Ledger uses consensus. That consensus mechanism is what allows for those transactions to be approved. Ripple is a company. The XRP Ledger is 100% independent. And even Satoshi thought that that consensus mechanism was interesting. And there's no mention of Ryan Fugger. He is the one who gifted the tokens. So you get so many people assuming that it was made through an ICO, or I've just heard everything under the sun. These journalists are not doing their research. That comment from Satoshi was this: Ripple is interesting. It was called Ripple at the time because it was part of Ripple Pay. Ripple is interesting in that it's the only other system that does something with trust besides concentrate it into a central server. Satoshi. For any of you that find this interesting, I'm going to put a link to these real chats with, yes, the real Satoshi that come from 2009. Very interesting, very insightful, and very much a part of the history of how we are arriving at where we are today. You could say I spend a fair amount of time on Twitter, and I've seen a lot of beautiful artwork for NFTs. And I just want to make a statement here that, I have no incentive to promote or shill, and I'm not behind any NFT project, but I just fell in love with these lions. And I want to say that art doesn't need utility. We should be thankful in this world that there are still people who create art for art's sake. All right, everybody, we're jumping to the fluff. Yeah, tonight I was out with my friend. We do dinner once a month. Somebody I've been friends with for years here. He first started with, what was it? It was Citibank. And then he moved over to HSBC, and now he's with a Japanese bank. I probably won't tell you which bank just to keep his privacy. But we do dinner, and it's interesting that they are starting to do all of their work remotely. In fact, they signed a contract with Amazon. Amazon is going to provide them some sort of service where they'll be able to talk to their customers in a secure environment. I don't know. He didn't have all the details, but he was going to start that in February. I'll learn more about it because it seems as though they're really reducing staff and branches, and they're just taking a new approach. Also, they have a new CEO, so actually that give you probably pretty good clue as to which bank it is. They asked for input from the entire banking staff, what they should do to expand their products and services. Of course, he suggested crypto. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something, but we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, on my way back home, when I was at the station, I ran into this truck. This is a Yakimo truck. It's a very great special treat that we have in all of Japan in the wintertime. These are sweet potatoes, and there's vendors that are on little tiny trucks, and they are, they're cooking the sweet potatoes right there on the truck with wood burning stoves. And they also have these incredibly adorable pre-recorded songs that talk, Ishiyakimo. They, here I'm coming to your neighborhood with these hot sweet potatoes that have been grilled, and they're so yummy. And they have songs. Each truck has kind of a unique version of their song. This one happened to be just parked in front of the station, so it didn't have its recorder going. But when they do, they're driving through the streets of Tokyo very, very slow, and it allows people to come out and get one or two. And you can see mine is up here on the scale. This costs 700 yen, which is about $5 US dollars, a little less, and it's so yummy. For me, the way most people just eat them right immediately when they buy off the truck, but I like to bring mine home and cut it up into slices, put it in the toaster oven, and then with a little bit of butter. They're so good. Anyway, it's one of those treats that really only come in the wintertime. And this time of year, we don't have a lot of rain. It's not too cold. And yeah, December seems to be the really peak season for the Yakimo trucks. Here's a picture of the sweet potato when I got home. And the length is about close to 9 inches long. It's a big one. I'm going to really have probably something to snack on for the next 3 days. Here's somebody who uploaded a video onto YouTube, and they are unwrapping theirs. You can see they got a great price, 500 yen for this one. And watch when he breaks it open. You can see how yummy they look, and they taste even better. Yeah, and they're piping hot when you get them off that truck too. Do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.